What's good, YouTubers and YouTubettes? This is JBsports back again with another one. The proposed Tyson Fury versus Dillian Whyte WBC heavyweight title matchup is turning into a soap opera. Well, it already is a soap opera. It's turning into a fiasco, actually, as Dillian Whyte has made no comments in regards to Queensberry Promotions winning the purse bid to secure the rights for Fury versus Whyte. They put in a bid of $42+ million. The WBC ruled several weeks ago that the purse split would be 80-20. Therefore, Tyson Fury would get in the neighborhood of $29.5 million, and Dillian Whyte would get in the neighborhood of $7.4 million. With 10% going to the winner, which the 10% will be $4.1 million, in that neighborhood of $4.1 million. Fury was actually ecstatic about those developments, happy, ready to get, ready to get his training camp started with a fighter that he knows he's going to fight. I think he's already been in training, but now he can kind of, him and his team can implement the game plan and focus on the opponent, Dillian Whyte. But we ain't heard from Dillian Whyte. Dillian Whyte is the same guy that made $300,000 in this last fight. He's getting a career high payday. The promoter, Frank Warren, outbid his promoter, Eddie Hearn, which enabled Dillian Whyte at the end of the day to walk away with $8.2 million instead of $6.4 million. That's before the 10% that's going to be taken out for the winner of this proposed heavyweight title fight. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. But the WBC just recently came out and said that both parties have 21 days to submit signed contracts. This should be a formality, but in this situation, it's not a formality, as Dillian Whyte has made no comments. Dillian Whyte is still in arbitration with the WBC. Dillian Whyte is still trying to get a higher split than 20%. I think he probably wants, at the bare minimum, 25%, but the WBC has ruled. I believe that ruling is set in stone, so I don't know what Dillian Whyte is doing. Either he's going to take the fight or he's not going to take the fight. And if he ain't going to take the fight, then that's a horrible move. That's career suicide. If he does that. If he indeed does that. Because like I said earlier, he made $300,000 in his last fight against Alexander Povetkin. He's going to be making 24 times that in the fight with Tyson Fury, as he's going to be walking away with at least $7.4 million. So we will see what happens and we will see what transpires. But I think the problem is the split, and I also think the problem is Whyte don't think he's going to get a fair shot. He's got his reservations about the WBC. He has his reservation about fighting Fury, where Fury is the house fighter. Fury has an exclusive deal with ESPN. It's going to be Fury's promoter that's going to be running the show. All that's coming into play, and I think that's making Dillian Whyte feel some type of way, and I don't think he's keen on taking the fight, or at least he has a reservation about taking the fight. I think the best case scenario is he takes the fight and he does the bare minimum in promoting the fight. He probably won't show up to the press conference. I won't put it past him. They're having a press conference, I think, next week. He might not show up there, or he might pull a Deontay Wilder, show up and don't say nothing. Basically do interviews with people that have been supporting him. IFL TV, he'll probably do an interview with them, Boxing Social and stuff like that, but he's probably not going to do no interviews with ESPN or, any of these ESPN-supported YouTube channels. Probably won't do no interviews with them. He going to do the bare minimum. He said, okay, you're going to pay me 20%. You're going to get 20% of me promoting this fight. It's basically what Dillian Whyte's going to do. So we're going to see what happens, and we're going to see what transpires, but there's a lot of different variables that's in play here. Maybe Eddie Hearn is trying to cut a deal with Dillian Whyte. Say, look here, man, vacate that purse bid. Don't even take the fight, man, because you had a disadvantage in the way. You behind the proverbial 8 ball. You getting low ball. You fighting on his show. You're not going to have any kind of chance of winning that fight unless you knock him out. If he finishes on his feet after 12 rounds, he's going to get the decision because he is the house fighter. He's got a mega deal with ESPN, which is about to expire. I'm sure ESPN would like to continue its business relationship with Tyson Fury, and they'll do everything they can to get him as the WBC champion to sign another multi-fight deal. So all that is up against you, and why should you take that risk, especially after all you've been through with the WBC? You know, you've been mandatory for 1,432 days, and you have not got your shot at the then champion Deontay Wilder, and now you finally getting your shot, but it's not much of a shot because they lowballing you, and you basically gonna need to knock the guy out to get any kind of win in that fight. Because if it does go to the judges' scorecard, you think they're gonna give you the fight when you're not affiliated with ESPN? The promoters of the event promote Tyson Fury. You can see the handwriting on the wall. I think I have a better deal for you. You can fight for 3 belts. You can fight the winner of Alexander Usyk versus Anthony Joshua. Maybe we do an interim matchup. Maybe we get a fight with a Chris Arreola. You know, that should be a fight that you should be able to win. You get that victory, stay sharp, and then you get the winner of that for 3 belts instead of fighting for 1 belt against the house fighter. You will be able to fight for 3 belts on a Matchroom promoted card on the zone. So that might be what's in play here. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But it's very, very interesting, man. But this whole situation is kind of getting me numb to the sport of boxing, man, because it's too much stuff going on outside of the ring. We should be talking about what's going to happen in the ring between Fury and Whyte, man. But we got all this outside stuff, this business that's coming into play in boxing, man. Who going to make what? Oh, no, you're not finna lowball me. I feel I should make this. If you lowball me, I'm not going to take the fight, and I'm going to deprive the fans of a much-anticipated matchup. You know, this, that, and the third, man. It's just getting absolutely ridiculous, man. I ain't lying to you. It's getting absolutely ridiculous, man. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But this thing is not nowhere close to being a done deal between Fury versus Whyte. All I know is the working date is April 23rd. I believe Tyson Fury will be fighting on that date, but who he will be fighting remains to be seen. It could be Dillian Whyte, or it could be Robert Helenius. Now, Helenius just got called for eliminated with Huey Fury. Will Helenius take that fight? Is it enough money in that fight to satisfy Robert Helenius, who's coming off back-to-back impressive victories over Adam Kanaki? He's been fighting under the PBC for the last couple of fights. Will he look to fight maybe a fighter that's affiliated with the PBC for more money than he would get probably fighting a Huey Fury, who's the Paul Malignaggi of the heavyweight division? This guy's feather-fisted. And maybe if they can show him the money, duffel bag money, maybe he takes that fight. Outside of that, man, I see Robert Helenius declining that, and you know, he might have a fight with Tyson Fury on the horizon. He could have a fight with Deontay Wilder on the horizon. Those are much bigger fights than Huey Fury. But maybe Tyson Fury don't want to do his brother like that. I forgot about that dynamic. Tyson Fury might say, hey, man, you're not fighting my brother. I'm not going to fight you. So maybe he does take that fight. But like I said, you still got Deontay Wilder, who's out there, and he represents a much higher bag than Huey Fury. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. But that's the latest and greatest in boxing, man. The WBC has given both sides February 21st as a deadline date to submit signed contracts. So we will see what happens, and we will see what transpires. Let me know your thoughts, and let me know how you think this whole thing will play out. Do you think Tyson Fury and Dillian Whyte will be the next fight, or do you think Dillian Whyte would sneak out the side, though, and cut a deal with Eddie Hearn for a unification fight with the winner of Joshua versus Usyk? Let me know your thoughts, and like and subscribe to JB Sports, the man, the myth, the legend, and I'll holla.